Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Now it's time for a fact that makes your brain go. 1 in 5 Chicagoans do this, and it's an easy way for them, and I'm not saying all of these 5, the one I should say out of the 5, to have money stolen from you. Okay? So, what do you think that is? 1 in 5 Chicagoans are doing this and easily making it for money to be stolen from them.
Okay, so 1 in 5 couples are doing this thing, and it's making it easy to steal from?
Yeah, not couples, but just person, just one person.
Can
do that. So 1 in 5 of Chicagoans are doing this. What do you think it is? It makes it very easy for money to get stolen from you. I'm not saying all of them have been stolen, but it's very easy.
Okay, you know what I think it is?
What do you think it is?
I think it's because this may or may not have happened to me.
I think it did that.
That's all I'm going to say.
Basically
No, I never said that.
This happened to Kenzie.
But say when you take like a video of like your food and the table because it's like so aesthetic, and maybe your credit card's in that video and you didn't realize it.
It's a great answer.
So it's like, there's a picture of your credit card available.
I've done that.
Right?
Where I posted it and then someone said your credit card's on there. Thank God someone was honest and I got rid of it.
Somebody also noticed my credit card. They just didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, gotta be careful. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. Great answer. Case, what do you think?
I think 1 in 5 Chicagoans aren't walking around with chain wallets, and it's making it very easy to steal from them. I don't know if you guys have been downtown lately. A lot of chain wallets. They're back, baby.
Are they?
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't keep up with the wallet stuff, so wow.
God, did I want to have a chain wallet in high school.
Really?
All the burnouts had the chain wallets.
And you wanted to be like the burnouts.
Yes, I did. And I actually,
your dad was like, absolutely not.
Believe it or not, I borrowed a chain wallet from my burnout friend. And I came home with it. My dad said, "What the hell's that?"
What a poser. You're borrowing a chain wallet?
Yeah, I wanted to try it
You
out.
can't even burn out, right?
Yeah. Well, back then, pre-Amazon, you had to go to I'm going to use a phrase here you may not be familiar with, a head shop.
I don't know what a head shop is.
So
that sounds illegal.
A head shop was
cool.
It was legal, and that they sold bongs and all the marijuana paraphernalia, but except for marijuana. So those were legal. You could go buy all of your whatever, anything weed related. But they would also sell chain wallets there because they knew their audience and they knew someone would buy a chain wallet if they went to buy a bong.
I see.
But would they be allowed to say that it was for marijuana usage, or would they have to say it was like a pottery item?
They'd say it was for tobacco usage.
Oh, interesting.
Because people still could do that, like at hookah bars, they might use different flavors of tobacco
Okay.
or smoke products. So there's a little lesson for you on head shops.
I remember being really...
Take notes, kids.
I never knew the name of them.
Hello, fellow kids.
I obviously never knew the name of them, but I do remember being at those things very young and being like, like blasphemy. Because when you're like 4th grade, you're like, this is horrible.
Who took you into a head shop? Your older brother probably or something?
Probably, yeah.
Your mechanic brother, that tracks.
Well, my other brother, because I have 2 older ones, also used to do chew while he was underage. And they're both like decently older than me. And they have flavored chew?
Yes.
Yes. So his was like a sour apple. Oof. And I'm like, oh, does it actually taste like that? He goes, yeah, it tastes like candy. And he put it in my mouth. I was in 5th grade. And I threw up everywhere.
Because you probably swallowed the flavoring.
Well, I was chewing on it because it was called chew.
Yup.
And hey, spoiler alert, doesn't really taste very much like green apple. Would have preferred the Skittles. Big bummer.
Now people are asking me to locate some of the head shops, like next to Rolling Stones Records.
Oh, yeah.
There was a head shop there, and I can't remember the name of it. But we'll find it in the break when we come back, and we'll give you the fact that took us here, which is 1 in 5 Chicagoans are doing this, and it's causing them very easily to have their money stolen. And that's case because what got us there is case of they're not wearing chain wallets.
That's right.
Chain wallets are back. We'll get to it in 5 minutes. We'll tell you what the answer is.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Well, it's time for a fact that makes your brain go. 1 in 5 Chicagoans do this, and some of them do it every day, and it makes it very easy for your money to get stolen. Now, Kenzie guessed that taking pictures of food and you already have your wallet out to pay and your credit card's on the table and that gets in the picture and people steal. Great answer, because I've done that accidentally.
Whoops.
I love taking pictures of food, but that's not right. Case thinks it's the lack of using a chain wallet, which are on the rise, and everybody in Chicago should have a chain wallet now. Oh, that brought back so many memories. I always wanted one. I borrowed one from the burnout that I knew, and my dad didn't let me wear it, and so I couldn't buy. I know I'm a grown-ass man now, and I can do what I want.
You can.
But I still feel my dad's presence, so he'd be disappointed in me if I was wearing a chain wallet, and I really want one.
Can I ask real quick what the name of the burnout was that you borrowed your chain wallet from?
Vinny.
Vinny? That's a classic burnout name. Yeah. With all due respect to Vinny's out there.
The only reason I remember that is because his name was Vincent, and he corrected a teacher and said it's Vinny. And the teacher was scared.
Yeah, of course.
He's like, okay.
Terrified.
Okay, Vinny.
This is probably the wrong decade. They're going to get mad at me for this. But I do imagine greaser hair and a white T-shirt with the sleeves rolled a little bit.
Wrong decade. Because you're thinking what a burnout was in my world was...
But Vinny, that's what I'm seeing.
Oh, okay, Vinny. But there was Vinny's in the 90s. This Vinny had a Metallica leather jacket, like embroidered. I think he made it himself because it looked really bad.
Oh, that's too bad.
But he'd wear the jean jacket underneath the leather jacket.
Okay, so more like Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
More like Judd Nelson.
Yes.
More like him in Breakfast Club look.
Not like Grease. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about yourself. I'm just like, this is what
I don't feel bad. No, it's grunge era more. Like grungy.
I see.
Grungy. To give you the visual of Vinny. I wonder where Vinny is today.
Probably not in a great spot.
You think he's on Facebook so I can track him down?
I hope will you look during the next song to see if Vinny's on Facebook?
He's Italian, I'm assuming.
It was.
Vinny? So
it was.
I would assume, to quote the Sebastian Maniscalco from Chicago, he's laying a nice cement. Is this a good cementer?
Okay, so the fact that makes your brain go, 1 in 5 Chicagoans doing this that's causing their money to possibly get stolen is whenever you pay for something, they're just drawing a line instead of signing their name on a credit card thing, whether it's the digital one now or it's actually a receipt, because I still actually sign some receipts. But people are just drawing a line because they can't even write anymore, and I'm with them. I've forgotten how to write in cursive, and I just kind of scribble a line. But if you do that, it's making it very easy for people that may clone your credit card number to just not have to sign your actual signature because no one signs it anymore exactly like it should, or at least 1 in 5 don't.
I mean, I feel like no matter what, you're not signing it well.
Correct, but if you sign it at least somewhat like you used to sign it perfect, let's say, then it's hard to clone or copy. But if you're just putting a line in the signature of the name, well, you're not even making it easier, one more step easy for someone to steal your credit card information.
I suppose, especially if you're a parent, because do you remember copying your dad's signature or mom's signature ever?
I didn't do that.
Okay.
Why were you doing that, Kenzie?
Because not for theft, but like for like say you needed to get a permission slip signed, and you're like, or like your parent needs to know you behaved bad today. Make sure they sign this. I'm like, okay. I was trying to get the T just right. It's this really big slanted T. I was practicing. You never did that?
No, Kenzie was some shady behavior. I like it. Naughty. How many times were you getting these slips a week that you had to forge?
Well, there was a couple different things. Because like my parents made me play the family trumpet. They were too cheap to ever buy a new instrument, and we all had to play an instrument. And my brother picked trumpet, and then the rest of us had to learn the trumpet. I got in trouble for throwing it at a wall once. I hated it so much.
Why are we just now learning this about you?
Facts.
I know, hated it. We were all required to, like, instruments are super expensive. So my brother Adam got to pick first because he's 10 years older than me, right? And he bought a trumpet. And there was like, it's mandatory for you to learn an instrument. And guess what? We're not buying a different instrument. So every kid after that had to do the trumpet.
Yeah.
The same one. It had dents in it. The mouthpiece would get stuck sometimes.
Ew.
So then I had to carry, as if I wasn't getting bullied enough for being a girl in school carrying the trumpet case. Imagine when you have to carry it around open because the mouthpiece won't come out so you can get the case to shut.
People bully trumpet ladies?
Oh, it was not a good experience. There was no other trumpet woman in history.
What's the name of a female trumpet player, right?
So
what do you call them?
Embarrassing. All the other girls are doing these cute little delicate, like the flute, and I was sitting with a bunch of dudes, like with my trumpet. It sucked.
I didn't know the trumpet was gender specific.
It's not, but when you're in junior high, it is. Like, it was horrible.
Your case is open.
And you stuck open. It was old trumpet. It was just like there was dents all over it. But you had to like practice a certain amount, so you're like you would get it signed off that you had practiced from your parents.
Yeah, I remember that.
I hated that thing.
You forged that.
Yes,
thing.
I'm not practicing. This is stupid.
All right. Well, listen. keep trying to sign your name best you can because we don't write anymore. But don't just put a line because that's a chance for your stuff to easily get stolen when there's people looking for that kind of thing. Sign your damn name, okay? Try to. I have the worst problem. I can't write at all anymore. But also a text follow-up. We were talking about head shops earlier after Case led us there with the chain wallets. And then someone asked me specifically, Brian, what was the head shop next to Rolling Stone Records? So we have Andrew checking in, and he says it was called Beyond the Limit. That was the head shop, and thank you for that information. He said it was down the street, right down the street from Rolling Stone. My buddy's mom owned it.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Origin story. This is awesome.
Glad we got to the bottom of that before we continue the show.
Thank God.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for Case's movie reviews. And if you're new to the show, here's how it goes. So, coming up on a year now ago, I got really tired of Case, the producer, who's never seen most of the big movies all of us have seen, like Pulp Fiction, like Shawshank Redemption. I can go on and on, but he's now seen all these huge movies, and he's really a better person because of it. He'd only seen Boys in the Hood and Norbit before we started this thing.
Correct.
So now he has seen all kinds of the classics and now quotes movies like I do all the time in the hallway.
Twister. I use it every day.
Oh, we've discovered that line that's become our iconic line, the money, not the science.
God, I love it.
Then Kenzie had the great idea that for October, it should be all horror movies, and the classic, iconic horror movies, we'll start with those.
I was like, he needs to understand Halloween costumes was like how we did this. I know that maybe there's better ones and there's personal favorites, but there will be another October in the future. You see, I think we needed to start with absolute basics.
And me as a kid, I would say this was the biggest Halloween costume, even more than Jason or Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger. Because it was always cool to make those. People used to use tinfoil to make his hand, the razor blades on there.
And now you use that to watch the Chicago Sports Network. It's amazing how we've come full circle.
Freddie gets it. He puts his hand in the air. That lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah. James checked in from Carpentersville, and he said, I was Freddy Krueger every year from 1997 to 2003.
An illustrious run.
I want to know why he changed, but we don't have time to get into that. So thanks for checking in from Carpentersville this morning. We appreciate that. But let's start how we always do. It is the movie trailer from the original movie number 1, 40 years old, 1984, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
The kids of Elm Street don't know it yet. But something is coming to get them.
There's something out there, isn't there?
We just see cuts happen.
What did that, Lieutenant?
I don't know. What's the coroner got to say?
He's in the jar and puking since he saw it.
He's gonna kill me for sure.
Did you do it?
There was somebody else there.
He was locked in a room with a girl who went in alive and came out in a rubber bag.
No one knows where it came from.
It's not funny she's dead.
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
Nancy, there's something wrong with you. You're imagining things.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you believe in the boogeyman?
No.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Wow, this hits. Okay.
I love the sound effects.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
She came out in a rubber bag. Love that guy. All right.
Rubber bags kind of weird, though. Aren't they just a zippy rubber?
I guess rubber stops the blood from dripping out of the bag.
Maybe. I didn't ever know those things were made out of rubber.
We can save that for another time, that discussion.
There are body bag experts out there.
Well, there could be
usually say came out in a body bag.
True.
That's usually that's the correct term, technically.
If there's any coroners out there, please check in.
Please.
But, Case, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Give us your review. Yay or nay, and go all the way through your reasoning.
So, I guess I don't know what was real in this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Not in the sense of was this a documentary, but was Freddy Krueger real? Because I don't understand. I watched this entire movie. I don't
people
understand.
Were dead.
But I don't understand if he was a metaphor and she was asleep the entire time, or if he did this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, did you watch it perfectly intently? Were you paying attention?
No, I watched it. I'm sorry. It's a little hard for me to buy into a guy that can shapeshift through walls and has claws as a hand. And I wasn't sure if, because the movie is called Nightmare on Elm Street, you see, and nightmares are something you have, but they're a figment of your imagination. I couldn't tell if he was like a guy with a social security number or if he was a guy that was in her nightmare.
Okay, so he existed, and then he was killed.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Sure.
They tell that part of the story in the movie.
Okay, all right. There's a lot of yapping in this movie.
Parents killed him, not a great guy.
Okay.
Cornered him in a boiler room, hence the face.
Okay, the boiler room I remember, yeah.
So he was real.
Because
he did bad things.
You don't hear a lot of talk about boiler rooms anymore, by the way. Those have gone away. Okay, so he did bad things.
He did very bad things. Parents burned him alive.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Well, and then he died.
Yeah, too bad.
Hence the skin, a lot of issues. Yeah? Like you can see it on him.
But he killed a lot of kids, so
He did bad things. That's what I said.
well, you said bad things. I'm saying he killed like kids.
Yeah.
Which
not a
I
good
think
guy.
is bad. I'll go ahead and say it.
I'm glad you're taking that stance.
Yeah.
No, I think the parents were fine with what they did. I'd have the same approach, I think. So anyway.
Don't let Kenzie near a gasoline.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So attacked in a boiler room, he dies. Much more Jason-y. Like Jason was dead, right? So it's like that, but he found a way to tap in to their dreams and kill them in their dreams. Yes, he was real, but he's no longer alive. He got killed. Just like a Jason.
Man, that doesn't make any sense to me.
So I don't know what part of
His spirit continues to kill people.
Okay.
Do you not believe in supernatural at all?
Not typically. I think people that believe in ghosts are a little weird.
Don't say that and look at me. You piece of crap. That was super unnecessary.
Well,
That was filled with hate.
So now Freddy Krueger was, as we've cleared up, was a bad person.
Did not
good.
like him.
In Jason, he was a good kid that got left alone while they were having sex to drown in the lake. So he's more righteous in killing all these people.
What a funny way to...
Well, just remember when the mom says that they're fornicating. And they let the poor kid die. Jason died in the lake, drowned in the lake.
It was awful.
Freddy Krueger, bad guy.
Yes.
So it's bad that he came back too.
Still bad.
Does that make
Spirit
sense?
bad, yeah.
But if he's actually doing this, why does it seem like the girl that's in distress the entire movie? Why does it seem like her mom wants her to die? Because she just ignores all of the things she's saying the entire time.
Really does.
It's like Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss. She's just making fun of her daughter the entire movie, and her daughter's about to die.
Really are not helpful.
Not at all.
Really, the parents are not
I know,
helpful.
but imagine on like your third night of not getting good sleep and your kid's still yapping about how things have been. It's in my dream. Like, just go to bed. We're all tired. I get it.
By the way, mid-review, Robert checked in. Was Case smoking some of that Michigan grass?
I wasn't. The movie just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell if at the end of it she was going to wake up, but it was all going to be a dream, but it was really a nightmare. And then when even the last scene of the movie didn't make any sense because the kids all get in the car and the mom, who, again, ignorant to the entire situation, she gets grabbed by Freddy at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But she's not asleep.
Correct.
None of this movie makes sense.
Well, here's the deal. He's choosing to be in the dreams. That's like his little, it's going to really mess with them. He could do it it's not like he was only given permission to do that. He's deciding just to be awful, like he was when he was alive.
But Kenzie, do you ever play board games with your 10-year-old and in the middle of the game he makes a rule so that he always has to win?
Yeah, no, we put a stop to that. Yeah, but yes.
Freddy Krueger doesn't exist in a reality that I can understand where he can shapeshift and he can stab people and he can spin people like a basketball on his finger like he's a Harlem Globetrotter and he can decide when and where he shows up.
That's what happens when you die.
I feel like
we're to look forward to.
I feel like we're going in circles, so I'm just going to put an end to it.
Okay.
It's a movie. There's no physics involved with Freddy going from dreams to real life.
But Friday the 13th, which I watched last week, I loved because that movie made sense. I, too, have been a horny teen wanting to get some, and I have also been afraid of being killed by a scary figure at night.
There you go.
That movie was grounded in reality. This movie made no sense, and also, in the scope of the movie, since we're talking about the movie, bad special effects, bad music.
No. See, here's the thing with the music.
Okay, and also bad acting. Go ahead on the music.
So, Johnny Depp's in there. How dare you?
Exactly.
That's right. So with Friday the 13th, you had Kevin Bacon's first movie, and then Johnny Depp in this one. Unbelievable. I forgot about that Johnny Depp was in the first. I haven't seen it in a long time, this movie. But
I wouldn't recommend.
But the music shift was probably, in my opinion, the first horror movie that didn't just have, this in it. Like it had kind of like Depeche Mode beats and some metal. Later movies had total thrash metal in it.
In fact, if any movie you like the sounds, it should be this one.
Yeah.
This was, during all the chase scenes in this movie, they're doing, again, it's almost like proto-Depeche Mode, but it ages really poorly. We don't associate that sort of electronic music with, like, scary things anymore, or action sequences. It's just not any good.
But that captured the moment. I didn't say it aged well as far as the music, but it certainly captured a time that Wes Craven, the great director of that, found a way to make something different. That's why that movie stood out when you first watch it after watching other horror movies. It stood out for what its sound and look is.
Yeah. It's a 90-minute movie. I felt like I was spent 90 days watching it. I couldn't get to the end fast enough.
I know you're going to give your rating. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about with it?
I do think the first, let's say, half of the movie was pretty spooky. In terms of the scare factor, again, this is a genre that I never really explored. Kenzie brought all these movies to me, and something like The Shining was really creepy. I expected Saw to be even scarier than it was. I felt like I handled that pretty well. This movie, especially at the beginning, was pretty creepy and pretty scary and pretty uneasy to watch. And then it just kept going. And then I didn't understand what was happening.
I think you're too old to have watched this movie because when I saw it like I was 13, I was afraid to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I saw Freddy in my sleep.
Yeah. No, I slept like a baby last night. I wasn't afraid.
What, you did your fantasy team before you went to bed? Readjust some players there?
I had the Saints defense, so it was tough for me last night.
Oh, boy. So I'm just going to give you, before you give your rating, Rotten Tomatoes has this as a 95% certified fresh movie.
Yeah, well, I don't trust the lamestream media, Brian, so that means nothing to me.
Holy crap. So I have a feeling we got a bad score coming on this one.
Yeah. I would give this movie 3 fingers out of 10. Not one that I would recommend. If you're thinking about revisiting, you can go ahead and skip it this weekend.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We're pouring one out here. Never thought I'd say this on Q101. We're pouring one out in Illinois for legalized marijuana because revenue from marijuana sales in Illinois were down in September of 2024 for the first time since it became legal almost 5 years ago.
Down month over month, year over year?
Month over month.
Really?
So here's what it was. It's the first year-over-year decline since it began. And September was $136.5 million last month of weed sales. And before that, in September 2023, it was $139.5 million. So it's down about 2.2% year over year. That sounds like a big problem.
Just the weed people.
Well, I guess
do you think it's losing its potency, when you do something a lot?
I wonder the problems of obviously inflation. People don't have enough money anymore to do the things they want to do. And when weed became legal here in January, I believe it was 2020, that certainly it boomed up. And every year it's increased to over $1 billion, maybe even sometimes $2 billion a year for the state of Illinois. We have some of the highest taxed legal marijuana in the country, if not the highest tax. That's a problem. I know for a lot of people that partake, I don't, but people that do say that's what the deal is, and they still go and buy it outside of the dispensaries. We now have 230 marijuana dispensaries in Illinois, but the average price is certainly high, and nationwide it's been falling. I don't think it's been falling in Illinois. Now, people that buy it, maybe they can let me know on the inside there. I don't know. So, yeah, pretty shocking. I'm not saying it's over. I'm not saying legalized weed is over, but it's certainly down 2.2% from last year.
Wow.
Are you smoking enough? What smokers out there? What you be doing?
A lot of people are like, too expensive, too expensive, too expensive.
Yeah.
By the way, Brian, smokers, what you be doing is what an undercover cop would ask. Just so you know.
Fellow kids.
Oh my God. Yeah, somebody said because we're all growing our own.
Hey, that's a good answer. That's really cool
a really
to hear.
Good answer.
That's great if you're growing your own.
Organic's so important these days. Farm to table.
Shop local. Yeah. Grass fed.
Amen.
Grass-fed grass.
Yeah.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
We mentioned for the first time ever since weed got legal in Illinois, they went down year to year in September, about 2.2%. And me, as a non-smoker, I've tried it, but I don't partake anymore. It's just not for me. But I appreciate, I'm happy it's legal for people that want to use it for whatever reasons. Now, I asked the smokers, why is it going down? Is it over? Is it inflation? What's the deal? And let's check in with crew member Dakota first on this one. Ahoy, Dakota. Give us your explanation or your thoughts on it.
Hey, good morning. Okay, so I actually ended up canceling my card. I got it like a month after it started to be legalized. And so despite that, I wouldn't have to pay taxes on it. But the problem is...
Because you have the medicinal card, right? That's why you don't pay taxes on that, correct?
Correct, yeah. So you just pay like the baseline of it. Now, the problem is, quite contrary to what Kenzie said, it's actually the potency is too much, okay? You need very, very little for it to actually get the job done for what you want. And that's kind of the problem. It's like you don't need to go back every other week to get something if you are going to be able to make what you got last you at least 3-4 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
That tracks with a friend of mine who said, I smoked it back when we used to call it appropriately called skunk weed. That's what we called it back then.
Awesome band, I'm sure.
They play in Riot Fest next year.
Absolutely.
And he told me if I smoked weed today, I'd be in a hospital bed.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
I appreciate the heads up, just in case something happens at a Halloween party.
And now he, though, has the tolerance to it a little bit because he's an avid daily smoker. But I was like, okay, I'm going to stay away from it. I know I get a contact hit when just someone's walking in front of me now in Chicago.
When you smell it?
Yeah, just smell it.
You ever smell it and then be like, oh my God, I'm a little dizzy.
Yeah.
I smelled a little weed there.
And I see someone just walking like they're doing their normal routine. I'm like, damn, how's that guy moving?
That's amazing to me. And we've asked this question before. We've asked listeners like, hey, text in if you smoked before you went to work. And then the text line explodes like we're giving away unlimited wealth for a lifetime. How do these people do this? This is amazing.
I have no idea. But we got a really funny text. I probably shouldn't say his name. So 219 texted in and said, it's more about like the cost of it, right? And he goes, half the cars at the dispensaries in Michigan have Illinois plates. And then 2 minutes after that, he wrote, allegedly. Which I thought was so funny.
Not implicating me on this. Also, Guy texted in that tracks with what Dakota said. The legalized weed nowadays is so freaking strong. You take a couple hits and blast into the outer space with a full-fledged panic attack. He says, I miss the old school A-Town Brown, another name of
I
weed.
guess you can't just spend a nice evening smoking anymore. Like, you're going to be done in about 4 seconds because you're going to be high.
And I'm happy that people are getting quality product. They're just paying
That's
way.
good.
And the problem is Illinois, they tax, I believe, 40% on it. It's
40%?
Yeah, 40%, I think. Bailey's checking in from Valpo. Bailey, what's up?
Hey, they're not wrong, to be honest.
Okay.
But it is the Michigan dispensaries, because when you first get off the first exit, when you enter into Michigan, there's like 5 dispensaries right there.
Smart.
It is, and you can get not only better weed than Illinois, it's much, much cheaper. So it makes it well worth the drive, just driving from Illinois to Michigan and then back, as long as you don't get caught.
Well, that's trafficking, right, over the state border?
And that's the problem, because no matter where you are, if you are live in Illinois and you go get the weed from Michigan and bring it back, that's still a felony. If they found out that you went to Michigan and brought it back, that's a felony.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It is.
Because Indiana's not legal recreational, so you have to go through Indiana. And either way, if you cross the border, you're not supposed. I know that people that come from Wisconsin and buy our weed, if you buy it here and use it here, you're fine.
You just can't do that with any medication. You can't go over the border.
Yeah, you better take your Tylenol out of your purse. You can't go over the border with that.
Birth control. I'm like, listen, I just don't want another baby. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to smuggle anything.
Okay, well, see, we're learning a lot here together on why possibly the legalized weed in Illinois has dropped year over year for the first time ever. A lot of good answers here from our good, intelligent, weed-smoking people.
Non-smugglers?
Non-smugglers. Don't do that, like you said.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.